Do I follow my TBRs? No, never. Nonetheless, here is my very early August TBR because they're really fun to make, and it just makes me feel like I actually have a plan. Hey everybody, my name is Maya. Welcome to my channel. If you are new, feel free to subscribe for videos way too often. And if you're returning, welcome back. Today, as I mentioned in my intro ramble, I have my August TBR for you guys. Today was supposed to be my part 2 for the Reading Rush vlog. However, I was thinking about it and I thought that it'd be better to vlog the entire day Sunday and then have the vlog come out a little bit later than it would be to cut off the vlog a day short and then leave you guys with a bunch of stuff that I did, but you wouldn't know what it was, you know? The first book I will be reading in the month of August is Jane Eyre by, is it Charlotte? Charlotte Bronte.
What fault do you find with me? I have all my limbs and features.
I beg your pardon, sir. I ought to have replied that beauty is of little consequence.
Jane Eyre follows an orphan girl. She's super lonely. She grew up in a household that really was awful. She was quite unloved, kind of like Cinderella. She was also born in poverty, which added, you know, a cherry to the ice cream sundae. When she takes the position of a governess at some rich guy's mansion, she falls in love, but there is a dark side to the mansion. It is not a dream, but a nightmare. And the cover is very Gothic inspired. I'm feeling like this might be a classic I actually enjoy. It's also larger type for easy reading, and we love larger type here in my house of short-sightedness. This was my great-grandma's book. This was Elsie's book. And she got it for 75 cents at a garage sale, so like, that would be nice. I wish I could buy books for 75 cents. Next, I will be reading a book I have had on TBRs previously, but have not gotten around to, and that is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. Truly Devious takes place at kind of this like elite private school in Vermont, and students are having to complete their senior projects. So our main character, whose name I don't know, Stevie Bell. Oh, that's an awesome name. Stevie Belle decides to do her senior project investigating the murders that have taken place at the school in Vermont. She unearths some surprising stuff in her attempt to really resolve this cold case. I love a good murder mystery, and on the back, the New York Times says, the Agatha Christie-like ecosystem pairs with a lacerating contemporary wit. A multi-layered modern detective story. I really love detective stories. True crime is one of my guilty pleasures, so I'm really looking forward to this book. That said, I do like fiction detective novels better because I feel that there's something sort of morbid about deriving entertainment about stuff that affected real people. That's my only problem with true crime. I'm really looking forward to this one because this is the third book in one of my favorite series I've started so far this year. I'm not really a series girl in general. I like standalones better. Game of Thrones is an exception.
Can your little birds get a message to the good masters of Astapor, the wise masters of Yonkai, and the benevolent? Tell me, can your little birds get a message to the good masters of Astapor, the wise masters of Yonkai, and the benevolent?
This is A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin. No idea what it's about because I don't want to spoil anything for myself, but winter is coming, guys. It is coming quick, and the direwolves can smell it in the air. There is danger. I think this is maybe the one where the Red Wedding takes place. So, Robb is still alive for now. Daenerys has 3 dragons. Ooh, there's gonna be a big fight. Ooh, there's a supernatural army of the living dead. Guess I'll find out. George R.R. Martin has a blog called Not a Blog that I read occasionally, just to kind of like see when the next book's coming out. And a few months back, my dad told me that George R.R. Martin is an incredibly slow writer, which is why the show Game of Thrones had to kind of create their own conclusion. And I thought, yeah, like, that's fine. It takes a while to write a book, especially a book this size. But it's been like 10 years since the last book. And the last book was supposed to come out last year, and then it was supposed to come out this year. And now he says it'll come out next year, but I'm thinking it'll probably come out during my freshman year of college, which is 2023. As you will see in my reading vlog part 2 for the Reading Rush, which will be, of course, out on Tuesday, I read my first Frederick Bachman, which was Beartown, and I loved it. I loved it, I loved it, I loved it. This month I will be reading my next Frederick Bachman, A Man Called Ove. It could be Ove, but I'm pretty sure it's Ove. This is about a crotchety old man. He's grumpy. He probably yells at pigeons that land on his mailbox, but then some neighbors move in and they soften him up. It's a heartwarming story about the unreliability of first impressions and a gentle reminder that life is sweeter when it is shared with other people. Frederick Bachman has a beautiful writing style. I especially love that his books are translated from German. I think it's incredible when a translated book maintains its essence even when it is copied and pasted into a different language. That's pretty darn cool. Props to the author and to the translator on that one. I also love the cover art on all of Frederick Bachman's books. They all have this kind of similar aesthetic, and it makes it feel just super, not cozy necessarily, but uniform, and I really like that. And I'm looking forward to having a new curmudgeon in my life, and I think Ove will be that curmudgeon for me. I really love this cover. It's shiny, it's cool, the font is neato gang. So let's see what it's about, shall we? This is about a 9-year-old.
My dad said the way I saw the world was a gift, that I was different than everyone else.
He's on a secret mission in New York City. I'm assuming New York City. He's trying to look for a key that belonged to his father who died during 9/11. And it'll bring him into contact with survivors on all sorts of exhilarating, affecting, often hilarious, and ultimately healing journey. That sounds really sweet, and like it could be really sad, but also have a deeply compassionate moral and theme. I am a huge fan of books with children protagonists because I feel like children have such a unique way of looking at the world. It's not necessarily innocent, but it's hopeful. They have yet to be jaded, and it provides kind of this hopeful, optimistic outlook on darker topics and subjects, and that's something I really appreciate. Those are the 5 physical books I have planned for this month. You best bet I'll read not a single one of them. We'll have to see. I'll definitely pick up another, but let's dive into the audiobooks I will be reading in the month of August. Oh wait, another physical book I'll be reading is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. The first audiobook I will be picking up in August is The Vanishing Half. This was a really popular book last month. I think it was a book of the month. That was hard to say. But The Vanishing Half is about 2 sisters. They are black and they live in the United States. However, one is white passing, and she decides to leave her family and her past behind and go through life as a white woman. She marries a white man, she has a child, and really it's about just the idea of what it means to pass in society, the privilege that is, and also it just deals with family dynamics. Ooh, it's a turtle dove! This is a book that has been widely praised all throughout BookTube. My favorite reviewers that have talked about it would have to be Read with Cindy, I think it's Read with Cindy, and Murphy Napier. They both loved this book, and I'm feeling quite hopeful. Yes, I am. The next book we've got is actually one that I have been anticipating for the whole year. It's probably the only new release I even knew about, so I'm really looking forward to it, and that is Mexican Gothic. This is a Gothic horror. I do know that it's not like super scary. I think it follows this girl who marries into a family, but then she gets a message one day from her cousin that her husband and his family want to kill her. Again, this is another book that I think will deal heavily with family dynamic. Not sure, but I'm just so excited. Also, look at that cover. I mean, come on. I'm looking forward to this one so much solely because it deals with grilled cheese, and we all know that grilled cheese makes the world go round. That is Tweet Cute by, I think her name's Emma? Let's see. I don't know. Emma Lord, I was right. Tweet Cute. There are 2 families. I think one has a restaurant, one has a food truck, something like that. And one of them has a really famous grilled cheese recipe, but then someone steals the grilled cheese. It's something to do with grilled cheese, and it's also a romance, and it has to do with Twitter, which I hate, but everything else sounds fantastic. Then I've got The Jane Austen Society by Natalie Jenner. This is also a new release that I've had on hold on Libby for quite some time. It's had mixed reviews, so I'm kind of hesitant, but I'm hoping it'll be appealing to moi. How about we look at the synopsis like a good booktuber? It's after World War II, and these bunch of Jane Austen fans come together to protect her home and her legacy. So like her historical house, she's passed away, but they're trying to make sure her final home doesn't diminish and that the estate is kept intact. They all also have their own struggles and with loss and trauma, and they rally together to create the Jane Austen Society. So I know this book hasn't gotten the best reviews, but I am excited for it, and here is why. I think art has the power to bring people together and to heal in a way. I don't think that art is a magic salve or what is that one word? It's not alopecia.
Panacea.
But I think that art and literature especially does have the capacity to bring people together and to help them resolve individual conflicts through a joint experience. And that experience is the art. Does that make sense? I feel like this book will kind of show that dynamic, that all of these people are struggling because obviously the world has just been racked by a tremendous war, which has resulted in a lot of loss and trauma, but they'll be able to bond through their shared love of literature. I think that's a really beautiful idea, one I'm a fan of, and I'm looking forward to reading more about it. Okay, I've also had this one on hold for a while, and I'm super, super excited. This is called Rosewater, and it is by Tade Thompson, which I believe takes place in Nigeria. Yes, it is the first of an award-winning trilogy set in Nigeria. Interestingly, this book has a focus on a town called Rosewater, where there is a mysterious alien biome. It is sci-fi, which I didn't realize until just now, but I have had a bit of a hankering for sci-fi. I'm really, really wishing we could skip the month of August, go straight into September, and just dive headfirst into the wonder that is fall. Rosewater is highly acclaimed. If I like the first book, I will absolutely continue with the trilogy, and it just has a beautiful cover as well. And this never was a thing I thought about. I never thought about covers. Okay. So the Newt's Readathon. We're all familiar with the magical Readathon hosted by G on Book Roast. Well, this is the final Harry Potter-inspired version of the magical Readathon that will ever happen in the history of ever. Though I will definitely miss these Readathons, they've provided me with not only a fun thing to do and to look forward to, but also with this sense of shared nostalgia. Although I'll miss them, I think G has made the right decision in wake of all of the stuff Joanne has been spewing on the internet.
Tolkien has been dead for 50 years. He's not on Twitter. But J.K. Rowling is not only alive, she's also relatively young and has tremendous power and influence and a lot of followers and a lot of money and a lot of control of her intellectual property.
But I was thinking about how I could participate in this readathon and also promote awareness, because I feel like Joanne actually thinks she's doing a good thing, and I think that's what's so dangerous, is that she's spreading misinformation and communicating actually a pretty hateful rhetoric without knowing that she's doing so. I think she genuinely thinks she's doing good, and that's really harmful. So I decided that for the entirety of the Newt's Readathon, mainly I will be reading books surrounding the LGBTQ plus community, primarily focusing on transgender stories. I thought that would be a real good middle finger to J.K. Rowling, and also something that would be beneficial to me. But yeah, I just thought, 1, it'll educate me, I'll learn a lot. 2, I'll read some pretty awesome books. 3, F you, Joanne. One of my best friends is actually transgender, and he put together a list for me. He absolutely didn't have to, but I totally appreciate it. And it's called Trans Books for Maya. Look at that handwriting. Tell me he shouldn't start a calligraphy channel, because I would watch it. You would watch it too, wouldn't you? Comment below if Austin should start a calligraphy channel. Say yes. Anyway, this list is amazing. It's beautiful. It's colorful. I love it. And the first book that I will be reading for the readathon actually comes from Austin's handy dandy list. That book is Symptoms of Being Human by Jeff Garvin. A sharply honest and moving debut, perfect for fans of the perks of being a wallflower and Ask the Passengers. I'm definitely a fan of perks. Riley Kavanaugh is many things. Punk rock, snarky, rebellious, and gender fluid. Some days, Riley identifies as a boy, and others as a girl. but Riley isn't exactly out yet. And between starting a new school and having a congressman father running for re-election in uber-conservative Orange County, the pressure, media and otherwise, is building up in Riley's life. On the advice of a therapist, Riley starts an anonymous blog to vent those pent-up feelings and tell the truth of what it's really like to be a gender-fluid teenager. But just as Riley's starting to settle in at school, even developing feelings for a mysterious outcast, the blog goes viral, and an unnamed commenter discovers Riley's real identity, threatening exposure. Riley must make a choice. Walk away from what the blog has created, a lifeline, new friends, this app just shut me out, what the heck, a lifeline, new friends, a cause to believe in, or stand up, come out, and risk everything. That sounds like a really powerful book. So, those are all the audiobooks I have planned, but again, as I mentioned, I will be participating in a readathon this month, and I've not set my TBR for that yet. So let's look at some of the requirements for me for this readathon, and then I'll start thinking about books for it. For Ancient Runes, I need to read an author whose name starts with a B, a classic, and a romance. So I'm gonna find something there. For Defense Against the Dark Arts, I need to read a thriller, a book with a water theme, and an epic fantasy. And for History of Magic, I need to read a historical fiction, a book with a mainly black cover, and a book someone recommended to me. So this book, Symptoms of Being Human, is actually going to apply for my outstanding grade on History of Magic because Austin recommended this to me. But yeah, I'm gonna fill up those 9 slots primarily with books surrounding the LGBTQ+ community, and I'm really excited about it. Those are all the books I have planned for August. You can bet that I will read probably a fifth of them and then fill everything else with other books that I see and I'm like, oh, that looks good, because that's what I do, for better or for worse. Thank you all for watching this video. I will see you on Tuesday with part 2 of my Reading Rush vlog. And with that, I will say goodbye and have a wonderful day.